what's good, everyone? Welcome to another Livewire Sports Media edition, Saturday the Vibe edition. So check it out. The Indiana Fever dropped a 2-point game to the New York Liberty, which they started off slow. They got back in the game. They was down 15. They got back in the game. In the second half, they had a 12-point lead. Then they lost the lead and eventually came down to some plays that was questionable and they lost. But Stephanie White told a bold truth about the officiating in this game. Now, I said this before. There is no way that the Indiana Fever has not gone to the line a lot. I looked at it on Thursday's game, which I was there. This game, same thing. 32 free throw attempts. You cannot win the game like that. In the beginning of the game, um, Breonna Stewart was going to the line at will. Now she was utilizing her matchup, which Natasha Howard was on her, but still, 32 attempts in the last three games, it was 60, it's 63. And Stephanie White let it be known that she is not happier with it. And they going to complain. And I told y'all this. I said, if this continues with these referees not calling these calls, not giving, there is no way Natasha Howard could have all her hands all over Caitlin Clark and it's not a foul. You call a final call on Lexi Hall, which Stephanie White couldn't challenge because she didn't have no more timeouts. So if she used the challenge and didn't have no timeouts, she would have got penalized for that. That would have been a technical foul. So all of us, thinking that why she didn't use it, that is why. So I'll show you. Chloe Peterson says Stephanie White could not challenge the foul call on Lexi Hall because she didn't have a timeout. You needed a full timeout, not a reset timeout to initiate the challenge. So there you go. That's the reason why Stephanie White couldn't challenge the call. And actually, Stephanie White alluded to this too. You cannot leave it in the referee hands as well. And that's where I have said this in a couple of videos that you cannot leave it in the referee hands. Now, granted, Stephanie White should have called a timeout when they was on that run, when New York started making a run, when they had that lead, slow the momentum down, change personnel. The best person that she could have put on there was DeWanna Bonner. DeWanna Bonner played Stewie perfectly. Didn't let Stewie get past her, made Stewie give up the ball and everything. That's what you need, a tall, lanky person on her. Not Natasha Howard, because Natasha Howard is giving up size. And guess what? Jacquel Jones read the mismatch early on in the game. They was put Natasha Howard in pick and roll. That's how New York Liberty got out to the fast start. They kept putting Natasha Howard in pick and roll. And then they wasn't really keeping up their assignments. You allow Natasha Cloud to hit a couple of threes. Sabrina Nestor hitting a couple of threes. Then late in the game, Jacquel Jones hitting a couple of threes. You can't win games like that. You got to continue to go with your best personnel. And me personally, I would have thrown Michaela Timpson and Bree Turner in that game. Yeah, Damaris Johnson came in the game for a little bit, but you didn't see her for the rest of the game. I'm gonna do my post game of this game later, but I want to get this video out with Stephanie White because it's very, very important. Stephanie White is saying the same thing that we've been saying. There's no way that Indiana Fever is not getting these calls that these other teams is getting. There's something going on in the league with Commissioner Kathy Engelberg and these referees that these. I was surprised Caitlin Clark got an and one, a 4-point play on the 3-pointer. I was surprised at that. I was surprised that she did got calls getting to the basket at times. At times. But then again, they wasn't getting to the line consistently. Let me pull up the stat line real quick on this. Let me pull the stat line real quick on this because this is ridiculous. Team stats, free throws. The Fever only had 15 attempts at the line. They only made 11 of them, 73%. Caitlin Clark had most of that. Then you look at the Liberty, they was at the line 25 out of 32 times. They was almost 80% of there. Again, I said this all the time. The Indiana Fever is out rebounding every team they play. But you know what's the biggest thing is? They're missing easy layups. They had 20 assists to 19, 7 steals to 6, 5 blocks to 1. Total turnovers, they had 16 turnovers. Clark had 10 turnovers in this game. 10 turnovers in this game. 10. In 2 games, she has 14. And some of those turnovers probably wasn't even hers. It's probably her passing to the other people and they turning the ball over. We seen that last year when Caitlin Clark had a high assist of turnovers. In the first 2 games, she only had 2. Last game she had 4. This game she had 10. And what it was is she's forcing the ball and the ball is getting turned over. You got to take care of the ball. But anyway, like I said, I get to my post game that later. But I want to let y'all listen to what Stephanie White has to say because this is very, very important. I feel like the Indiana Fever front office needs to send footage every game. And if they do not change how they refereeing the Indiana Fever, I will be filing some kind of lawsuit against them because you cannot officiate the Indiana Fever differently from other teams, allow teams to constantly get to the foul line egregious times. These calls are so egregious, it doesn't even make sense. And then the Indiana Fever ain't helping their cause because they're not even making layups. You cannot wait on the referees to dictate the game. But when you sit here and see blatant calls all the time, that's a cause for concern. That's a cause for concern. Same thing in Atlanta game, 2 games in Atlanta game, same thing. You can't get to the line. You getting knocked around. They're not calling. They're holding the whistle. Natasha Howard had all her hands on Caitlin Clark the last few seconds, but it shouldn't even came to that play. DeWanna Bonner got fouled. Natasha Howard fouled her. How do somebody as short as Natasha Cloud block somebody's shot without fouling them? And they didn't even call it. That would have put the Fever up to probably it was up 80 that would have put them up 2 points. And then it would have made it would have made the Liberty force a 3-point shot. But then you get the ball down there, and then Sabrina Nesco drives to the basket, and she threw her body into Lexi Hall, where Lexi Hall had both of her hands up. That should have been initiated contact by the offensive player. That should have been an offensive foul going the other way. That would have killed it. That would have killed it. But anyway, here we go.
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter because it was a tight ball game. We're still not recognizing our mismatches. I felt like AB had plenty of opportunities. We could have gotten her touches down low, and we had some turnovers, key turnovers. We settled at times. We fought, but we can't dig ourselves a hole from the beginning. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a system to making sure that we can send stuff in and communicate, our grievances, so to speak. I don't know that I ever feel like the system works. It's not looking. We're not looking for a change. We're just looking for consistency. I felt like the second half of Atlanta, at least at our place, was at least consistent, right? And that's the thing that we're looking for.
And then the thing about, I don't care if the New York Liberty are the defending champions. I don't care. There got to be a level consistency across the board. It's like every time the Fever play any team, I don't care how sorry it is, it's like the other team will get the benefit of the call more and the Fever. It's like it's like the system is so rigged against the Indiana Fever to play a good game. It's like they gotta play perfect, damn near most, and they gotta play damn near perfect to win the game, and they gotta keep themselves up. Caitlin Clark had 5 fouls in this game. Again, 5 fouls. Howard had 4. Boston had 4. Lexi Hall had 4. DeWanna Bonner had 3. Where she didn't even have a foul after halftime. After halftime, she started picking up fouls. She had 7 boards. Leah Boston had a double-double. Kelsey Mitchell had 15 points. Hall 15. Clark 18. You giving Lexi Hall 4, and it just don't make sense. And I just think that there is a system in place, and they need to send it there, and they just say, hey, this has been going on for the last few games. Every time that we don't get the call, you expect something from us. They need to be refereeing. They need to referee the same. There's no way in the world Stewie should have got to the line as many times she did. Let me show you. Breonna Stewart went to the line 8 of the 10 times, and half of that was in the first quarter. Jarkel Jones went to the line 6 out of 7 times. Sabrina Ionescu went to the line 5 out of 7 times. That's crazy. There's no way they should have gone to the line that much. The Indiana, let me look at Caitlin Clark went to the free throw line 4 out of 5 times. You know why? Because she drove to the basket. The only one that she didn't get was when she hit a 3 and it was a 4-point play. Leo Boston got to the line 3 out of 4 times. DeWanna Bonner got to the line twice. She should have got to the line more than that.
When we were up 12 was more like, hey, we've got to continue to do what got us here. We got to move the ball. We've got to hit singles, not make home run plays. We have a tendency to try to make the home run play all the time, the dagger or the play that gets the momentum going, or and it doesn't need to be that way. We can make the easy plays. So those were more the communications, keeping our intensity level, on both ends of the floor. You can't relax. I mean, the margin for error when you're talking about playing championship caliber teams is so small. Digging ourselves a hole early, allowing them to shoot 64%, running into every screen like we were screen magnets. I mean, we can't have that. Not if we want to compete at the highest level. We'll have it sometimes because good offense beats good defense, but we can't have the breakdowns that we had. And then when they're making their runs, taking care of the ball, making sure we give ourselves the opportunity for the best shot on the floor.
Exactly, because the fact of the matter is that the Indiana Fever, I watched Kelsey Mitchell, and this is something that we had was concerned about Kelsey Mitchell last year. She gets in a tendency of trying to when the Fever had this lead. You remember when the Fever got the lead, Kelsey Mitchell wasn't on the floor. It was Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hall, Sophie Cunningham, and I think DeWanna Bonner was on the floor. That's how they got back in the game. Defense, spreading the wall, easy getting baskets. The pick and roll was killing them. New York could not defend the pick and roll. Sophie was playing hustle defense, getting rebounds, getting outside. Then when Dantas came in for Aaliyah Boston, they still didn't lose anything. They still kept everything. The ball got to Dante. She almost lost it. She tapped it to Sophie. Sophie hit a three. Lexi was all over the place. Lexi was keeping us in the game. She was keeping us steady. Then Clark finally got hot. And we took the lead from the Liberty. But then as soon as they brought back in Kelsey Mitchell and doggone Natasha Howard, that's when the lead started dwindling down. That's when that's when I should say they should not have brought Natasha Howard back. They should have either brought Bree Turner for at least 2 to 3 minutes, give DeWanna Bonner a break, rest, and let her come back in the game. So my thing is this here. I hope that Stephanie White, you can tell she's pissed off about the way this team is being officiated, the level of disrespect, the inconsistency that this team has experienced these 4 games. It's like they want every team to beat them, and they want this team to fall flat on their face so they could be the laughingstock of the WNBA. But they're gonna have to overcome it because the calls ain't gonna get any better. Rather they could play in every game and say, hey, you know what? Boom, this is what it is. But this is the start. It's early in the season. You send footage to say, hey, this needs to change. We're going to continue on each game if we don't get the same level of calls. Because there's no way that they should have been to the line that many times than the Fever. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. The officiating is horrible, man. It's trash. It's really trash. It's worse than what it was last year. To be honest with you, it's worse than it was last year. You cannot. It's hard to play great basketball and still trying to overcome the referees at the same time. Because then when you get some kind of momentum, guess what the referees do? They blow a non-ass call for the other team and start allowing them to get back into the game. Referees are momentum killers. They know how to get a team back into the game, and they know how to get a team out of the game. Like, comment, subscribe. This is Live Watch Sports Media on a Saturday afternoon. It's your Saturday Vibe edition. Let me know what you think. Until the next episode, you know what it is, because if you don't know, now you know.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying.